fire, picanha, gorgeous crust, charred shishito chimichurri. Ethan, they're all the things. Look at this, look. All the things that I love right here on one plate. Let me show you how I like to do it. First things first, let's get started with our fire. Now you can use the brazier and just do hardwood, or you could do charcoal and hardwood. I kind of like to do a mixture of both. So I'm gonna take a chimney, I'm gonna fill it up with my lump hardwood charcoal and then light it from the bottom. Now, take your time here, don't rush this. Let that fire climb, let those embers build. We want nice, red hot, glowing embers. Then we're gonna dump it over our brazier or our firebox, and I'm gonna throw some wood over the top. Today I'm using oak, but you can use any kind of wood that you like. Now we wanna let this sit for just a bit. This is the magic of cooking with live fire. We want those embers to build slowly so they fall down through the grates and give us our heat source. Now this natural wood is our heat source and it's our secret ingredient. It has all that beautiful flavor and smoke, but definitely don't rush this part. You want embers, then we're gonna bring them over and use your rake and slide them over underneath before we start cooking. Picanha, 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 my friends. This is such a fun, gorgeous cut of meat. So the picanha actually comes, it's like a sirloin cap. So think sirloin, but way more tender, and it's a big hunk. So we're gonna treat this a little differently than just a sirloin. I'm gonna take a very sharp knife and we're gonna score the fat cap. Now, as we cook along together over the videos to come, because I plan on doing a ton of videos, we're gonna do a lot of technique, and one that I think is really important. Do not trim the fat off. We need it. It's going to insulate and protect the meat, and it's going to give us a chance to basically create a really, really long cook that allows the meat a chance to come up slowly and perfectly. And doing little things like this, like scoring the surface, all sides, top and bottom, it gives us these nooks and crannies for all the seasonings to fit into, and that's what we want. We want a ton of flavor. And don't be afraid. Go hard. It's a big hunk of beautiful meat. Now I want to get my coals ready. Now what I want to do is I want to take my rake here. I'm going to actually pound on the wood. I want all of those embers to fall down. Now you can kind of scrape these around, you can wait longer, but what I want is a very thin, small bed of coals. Now this is going to be a fairly long cook. We're talking about maybe an hour and a half, depending on how fast we want to go. So I want to bring a shovel. I'm going to bring some of those embers over farther away from my brazier, so I want to control my heat better. So you don't need a ton, right? This isn't traditional cooking, this is live fire cooking. We're going to go low and slow on this picanha. So a nice small thin bed. Now we're going to take our picanha and go fat side down right over those coals. Now if it starts dripping down and catching on fire, it's too hot, raise it up a bit, but let's see where we are in about 20 minutes. Now let's talk about chimichurri. I'm going to specifically do something interesting. My good friend Matt Hussey gave me this idea. He said, what if you did a charred chimichurri with shishito peppers? A shishito chimi, Ethan?
This sounds great.
Sounds amazing, but I have a fun little trick I want to show you. Now our brazier over here, this side right here, Ethan, check it out. This is very, very hot. The hottest of hot. We've got our meat slowly going over here, but I can access all of this stunning heat. Now I've got a wire rack. I've got all of these, buddy. I'm gonna take them and we're gonna go right over the fire. Oh no, almost lost one. Oh, where are my tongs? I'm gonna go really, really quick because I just wanna blister up the skin and I wanna take advantage of all of this beautiful flavor from the fire. Can I save him? Can I save him? Oh, we saved him, Ethan. They'll start to snap, crackle, and pop. Plus, this is just a really fun way of cooking. Like asado, this is asado style cooking, right? Asado actually means roasted in Spanish, but it's kind of the way we say the word barbecue. Like you ever say, hey, you wanna come over for a barbecue? You don't actually mean barbecue. You mean you wanna come over, hang out, and cook and eat all day.
Yes.
Right? So asado cooking, it's a lifestyle. Asado is an event. This is asado. So if everyone's coming over and you just wanted to do like an appetizer first, you would start with something delicious and easy while your hour-long, oh, look at these.
You know who'd love this?
Who?
CJ.
CJ would love this.
But he's not here, so I get to eat them.
I'm gonna char these just for a bit. I just want some color. I want that snap, crackle, pop. Then we're gonna bring them back to our cutting board and chop them up really, really tiny. That's gonna be the base of our chimichurri. Don't overthink your chimichurri. Very, very simple. Some people like more parsley. Some people like more cilantro. The base here is our shishito, our charred shishito peppers. So we're gonna chop those up first. I'm an equal parts guy. Once you've got like this fine chop, we're gonna do equal parts parsley and cilantro and a ton of garlic. That's it. That's pretty much it. Well, we have some lime juice and some vinegar and oil and stuff later. But the basic thing here is it's just chop, 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 chop. Go to town. You'll absolutely love the end result if you chop it up really, really fine. Don't use a blender. Don't use a food processor. Do it by hand. All of that into a bowl. Now our limes. Fun little trick. Ethan, can you see? There's not really a big difference between these limes. When you're shopping for limes, the smooth skin, sometimes they're real bumpy and knobby. The smooth skin, much more juice. So look for lighter green and very smooth skin. Do you know that?
I don't know that, and I still don't really believe you.
We're gonna go with juice of 1, maybe 2 limes. I like a lot of lime juice. Not everyone adds lime to their chimichurri. But we're changing the game with our shishitos. I think we can add whatever citrus we want. The picanha smells unreal. Absolutely insanely delicious. I want to check on it before we finish this cherry. Come with me. Let's go on a walk. Let's take a gander here. So we've been on just a couple of minutes. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Woo! Woo!
Can we just fast forward this video until it's done?
No, we can't, but we can finish chimichurri. So I've got lime juice. I want to add a bit of seasoning, and this last part is totally up to you. You could do no vinegar. I really like champagne vinegar. I think it has a nice little bit of acidity. And now that picanha is pretty fatty, right? So we want to compete with the fat with the acidity of our chimi. A decent amount of oil here. Also, pro tip, make your chimichurri the day before. It's just so much better the next day. So much better.
Let it marinate?
So you can let it marinate and do all the things. That's chimichurri. If you wanted, you could add some chili flake to make it a little spicier. You could add some red bell pepper to make it more of a rojo. But that right there, that is all kinds of magic. We've still got about 45 minutes, so this is gonna have a chance to sit. 45 minutes, we're gonna wait. You want to peek one more time?
Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's go.
I'm going to use my tongue so I don't burn my hands off. All right, one more time. So that scoring that we did, it's giving us this gorgeous, beautiful pattern, right? And I don't know if you can see down in the fire chamber down here, we're not using a ton. We're not using a ton of embers. We do want to go slow. We don't want to rush this. This is asado. This is live fire cooking. We're not rushing. We're taking our time. We're bringing it up slowly. What do you think, medium? Let's check back in 10 minutes, see how we look. So if you get this, look down in here. Do you see how we got fire?
Whoa!
We do not want fire. What's happening is the fat is dripping down. We don't want the fire, right? So I'm gonna take these coals. It's the fat that's burning off. I'm gonna get rid of that. Let the fat burn off. Then I'll add the embers back. We want to control our heat. We don't want fire. We want to let that burn. There's enough ambient heat in here. You can see the fat. The fat's dripping. That's what's catching on fire. We don't want that. So I'm slowing down a little bit. Over here you can see I'm letting the fat burn off. When the fat burns off, then I'll add my coals back underneath my beautiful picanha. Pro tip. Don't be afraid to flip your picanha a few times, right? This is a finesse thing, but I do want to check my temp. So I want to be in like the 120 to 130 range to pull it off. And I am at 125, 127. 127 is good. Now you can go longer. If you do want to, check this out, stay here, Ethan. If you want to go longer, just pull the meat further away from your coals. Let it hang out. Flip it a few times. Like this is the finesse part with the fire, but because we can lift further away or drop it down close. Actually, want to see how close it can actually get? If you wanted to, like if you wanted to like a blast sear, you could go down all the way directly on top of the coals, which is so much fun. If you want to go fast and furious, you can do that, or you can bring it all the way up to the top and let it hang out for a bit more. Something else you could do, I wouldn't do this. If you wanted, like if some of your guests wanted rare, you can cut this in half and serve it and then take half of it and put it back on, let that cook longer. But I am gonna pull this off and let it rest on the cutting board. Then we'll cut it, then we'll see how we did. We did it. The hardest part in live fire cooking is waiting. Now, should we do the Instagram thing? We're gonna go right down the guts. Ooh. Look at this, can you? Oh. Crust for days. Look at the bottom side. Gorgeous sear. Look how juicy. This thing is money. So that technique earlier, now this isn't just for presentation, although it is stunning. It also helps get the meat cooking and insulated, and it's for presentation. It's pretty much just gorgeous. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I can already feel how gorgeous this is gonna be. Come on now.
Can we just
Come on now.
get done with this video
Can
already?
we gaze? Can we gaze at the wonder?
Let me get some beauty. Oh my God.
Now, sometimes when you're cooking a big piece of meat like this, sometimes like we were aiming for that medium, slightly closer to medium rare, this will bloom as it cooks. Actually, it's happening right now. What happens is the meat starts to oxygenate and that red color, that rouge starts to come out. So don't be afraid you didn't overcook it. Don't be afraid. But look at this. See this right here? That's that insulator. This is why we don't trim. This is why picanha is so gorgeous. All of this protects the meat. So all this right here is just stunning, sexy, gorgeous, all the things, all the stuff. Now, serving this, you could do a bunch of different ways. This isn't exactly the kind of cut that you would do like a steak for one, right? So this is more family style. We're gonna do it full like Brazilian style. So I'm gonna do thin slices here. And then we will kind of do a little family style platter. Oh man, that fat is gorgeous. If you don't like fat, I feel sorry
You're wrong.
for you. I feel sorry. It's so good. You can always cut the fat off, right? So what we can do here is we can take these gorgeous pieces. We'll do these for presentation. And I'm gonna take a little bit of this side over here as well. And we'll do this for little bites. This is how I like to do it. If I'm serving guests and I have a bunch of people over at my house, I'm gonna take a piece like this and I'm gonna cut individual little bites. And this is another place too where if you wanted to add like some sweeter seasonings, if you add those sweeter seasonings too early over the fire, it will start to burn because like the sugar, right? But look at our board. See all that seasoning, all that flavor? If I was doing this presentation style or party style, I would do it like this. And then you take all this move right here. This move. All of the yeses. Now let's grab our plate. We'll put this together. You know, I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna do the bites first. Look at that. Look at that. Come on now. And we have our gorgeous shishito chimi. Let's do shishito chimi right over the top. Clean up our plate. And my friends, it's time for dinner. I mean, if you make this and you invite friends over, not only is everybody eating good, like everyone thinks you're a pro. I get some heat in the comments talking about going to medium on cuts instead of medium rare. There's nothing wrong with medium. Especially when you have a cut like picanha. Oh my gosh. Oh man. You want a piece with the fat or without the fat?
Oh, with the fat.
While holding the camera, ladies and gentlemen, for his next feat of strength. Oh yeah. Check this out. So remember, sometimes we get afraid. We feel like we overcooked it. But when you're cooking with a larger cut, it will start to rouge out. So don't be frightened. I'm not ending this episode. I don't even know what I want to say more about this. Can I show you a close up? See the fat right there? That, don't get rid of that. I love the fat. And it's good for you. You know that?
How? Really?
I don't know, it's good for me. If this is your first time checking out the all-new Blackstone Open Flame, congratulations. You might be obsessed. I'm obsessed. I love this thing. I love everything about this thing. Play with your food, play with your ingredients, char the shishitos before making the chimi. Use green onions. Char the other vegetables before you do it. Give it a try, but don't char the herbs. Don't char the cilantro or the parsley. That would be weird. Go after the big cut. Try the picanha. Go for it. When you're cooking on the open flame, you can always slow it down by cranking it away. If it gets too aggressive, you want to go up higher. If you want it more aggressive, you can always go down. You still have full control. So good. Thank you for hanging out at Quickfire. I'm your host, Chef Nathan Lippy, and I will see you all in the next episode. I'm going to eat all of that.
Well,
every single bite of it. You know what? That's the